then you need to mention literature review 1. Otherwise, we don't know from where it's coming, right? So it has to be connected, right? It has to be connected. Right. So this is the recommendations, and recommendation should have a action plan. And this action plan has to be SMART. SMART means, you know, specific, measurable, right?
Achievable.
Yeah, achievable, realistic, and time bound, right? In other words, like you can say who, when, where, how. Because what is discussed under analysis, from it coming from analysis. What to do is coming from analysis, right? Other things you decide. Then 7 is self-reflection, right? Then you can show a video link somewhere here. Video link on leadership. Nine. References. Now this is the format. Okay. Right. So give me a few minutes. I just want to show you a video. Yeah. What I'll do is I will show the video a little later, right, before we wind up the session. So I just want to go through the theory, next part of theory, because then you will be understanding it better, right? Okay. Are there any other questions up to now? So I'm going to the lecture number 2.
Sir?
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I have a small doubt, sir. Now we are making blocks, same time we are making the assignment. Is there any relationship between those two?
No, no relationship whatsoever. Those are independent activities. Clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Hope you can see the slides. Right. So we are going to do. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So we are going to talk about traits and skills in leadership, right? Right. So this is what we are going to learn, right? It's a bit of a summary. And these things we discuss, like, you know, structure of the student module and all these things, you know, we discussed earlier. And this essential reading, you all should read this. I'm sending this today, this book, ebook to you all. So please go through it. You all should read it, right? And this we discuss quarter. We are supposed to discuss next time we meet, right? And I told you I will be sending this journal as well. You need to read it and come prepared to the lecture next time after discussing the classroom. Quarters one, this one. Right, these ones anyway, if you have time, you can read what I will be sending to you all. There were 3 I told you, right? So we are straight away coming to the theory, trait approach. Now we are going to look at leadership in a trait approach. Trait means qualities, right? Now generally, when you ask, if I ask you a question, right, what are the qualities that a leader should have, right? You all will come out with many things, right? There will be many answers that will be there. So generally, people look at leadership in a quality aspect, quality of a person, quality of a leader aspect, right? So another name for quality is called as trait. So trait approach means the quality or the attributes of a leader. So this is also called as great man theory. Now, why do you say great man theory is, this was identified in late 19th century, right? Late 19th century, 19th century is 1800s, right? So those days, long years ago, people thought that the leaders are always men, right? So that's why they call it as great man theory. And the assumption here is they assume that leaders are always born. If you want to be a leader, you should be born with certain qualities within you, right? Then you are considered as a leader. Now, if you look at like Alexander the Great and all those people, I mean, they are just presumed as, they are born with this leadership, and therefore they are considered as leaders. So the focus of the research was on great leaders, right? On this. They don't look at all leaders, like they only focus on the great people. Belief was that leaders possess traits that differentiate them from the others. That means if you are born with certain qualities, you are a leader. If not, you are a non-leader. So you are differentiated from a non-leader, right? So this is a very old theory, and this is the first theory that we are discussing under leadership. So in this case, now if great man theory is about the leaders are born, then there is a sort of a argument whether leaders are born or made. So it's a matter of nature versus nurture. Nature means, you are born. Nurture means whether you can be made, trained, right? So leaders defined by traits or the qualities or the characteristics they exhibit, right? That's what I told you earlier. You have to acquire a set of traits in order to be an effective leader, right? So you have to have a set of qualities to be a leader. So therefore, they call the great man theory said, this is innate and fixed. Innate means inborn. You are born with it, and it's fixed to you. It's in your DNA. This is what this theory said. This is a very old theory, right? So the notion of this is, unless you are born with, a set of, traits, you can become, you can't become a leader, right? So that's the theory. That's all about. So here you have, in fact, we did this in the classroom when we were doing physical classes, right? We did these debates in the classroom, but unfortunately you all will not be able to do it. So therefore, this is another, this is the next blog that you can do. Yeah. This is another blog topic. Leaders are born or made. Right. So there's a question whether if a paired presentation, we have to present one topic. Yes. If they confirm that if it's a paired presentation that you have to do, then both of you will be doing only one topic, single topic. Right. That you all have to decide on which company you all are doing, and then you have to do it. Right. Okay. So I'm getting back to this. So there's a debate that, without, we can't do a debate. So what we do is like virtually we'll be doing this as a blog activity. And you can either say whether the leaders are born or leaders are made. And then you can argue for or against, right? You need to do your research, read things and bring them to the argument, right? Okay. So some university endorse leadership traits, qualities of leader. So see, there are so many. Trustworthy, just means fair, coordinator, somebody coordinates, connects people, honest, team builder, builds good teams, foresight, can see far, plans ahead, is already prepared, well prepared all the time, encouraging, encourages the people, very positive, dynamic, right? Dynamic means, very agile, right? Motive aroused. Most of the good leaders are very much motive aroused, right? Because it's the driving force for leaders is the motive. Then confidence builder, right? Builds confidence within the followers. Well informed, knowledgeable, motivational, right? Motivates the others. Dependable, you can depend on them, right? If they say a word, that's a word. Intelligent, right? Then excellence oriented, always looking into achieving the excellence. Decisive, that means takes decisions. They don't just pass the ball, they take decisions. And very effective bargainer, bargains. It doesn't have to be like a Shylock bargainer, but can be a win-win bargain, right? Today, right? So you are a win-win problem solver. Administrative skill, also you have administrative skills, you know how to do things. And communicative, most importantly. So these are some of the set of traits that are identified in leaders according to the trait theories. And the history shows that so many trait theories have been researchers have been done. You can see in 1948 there was a researcher, a scientist called Stockdale. His research came out with traits like intelligence, alertness, insight, responsibility, initiativeness, persistence, self-confidence, and sociability as the traits at that time. Then another researcher called Mann in 1959 did a research, and it says intelligence, masculinity, right? Adjustment, dominance, extraversion, and conservatism. Now, this masculinity means, it's about, again, man, right? So they believe that the men can be leaders most of the time. Extraversion means, does anybody know what extraversion is? Does anybody know what extraversion is? What is extraversion? Can I ask somebody? Nobody knows what extraversion is? Never heard? Extroverts? Never heard that word? What is?
It's like being bold. Being bold.
Sorry?
It's like, is it like being bold and like?
No, not bold, not experiment.
Outgoing and outgoing and
Yeah, outgoing. Yes, outgoing personalities. Extroverts means, people who are outgoing personalities, like to work with teams, like to work with people, right? Uh, they are happy being with people than being alone, right? Those are extroverts. Hmm? Right. Yeah, you all can mute the mics. Right. Okay. Thanks. So that's extraversion. Then Stockdale in 1974 also did a research, and he came out with a set of traits like achievement, persistence, insight, initiativeness, self-confidence, responsibility, cooperativeness, tolerance, influence, and sociability again. Right? So some of the things are like same. Then Lord DeVader and Elijah in 1986 said three things. He said intelligence, masculinity, and dominance. So even in 1986 they were biased to the gender, right? They say a leader has to be a man. Then Kirkpatrick and Locke in 1991 said drive, motivation, integrity, cognitive ability. Now you can see when you come to 90s, a cognitive ability, cognitive means mind. The ability of the mind is, taking precedence. Then task knowledge. So we are seeing, a different landscape of traits. Now 91 is a long history. If you take today, the traits that you need can be totally different to what we discussed there, right? Okay, so this is about trait theory. So you can see the great man 1900s, it's about innate qualities, right? Innate qualities means, mostly they research on the qualities that they had when they are born. Then right. Okay, so when it comes to Stockdale and Mann, they also look at the situations also. The situation and the traits of the leader. Then in Stockdale, Lord Devader and Elijah Kirkpatrick and Locke, these researchers, they looked at the personality and the behavior of the leaders as well, apart from the traits. Okay, right. Right, so we'll go to the next one. Right. So also we need to understand that leadership, right? Does leadership have some connection with the personality type of people? Right? What do you all think? Does leadership is leadership having some connection with the personality type of a leader?
Yes, personality is very much important for a leader.
Yes. Yeah, good. So we'll look at this model here. This Goldberg, McRae and Costa did research on these personality types, right? It's called Big Five personality factors, right? So they looked at the preferences, biases, habits and feelings of leaders. And then they came out with 5 types of personality types. The first one is called as neuroticism. Neuroticism means, these leaders are always depressed, right? Anxious, insecure, vulnerable and hostile, always angry, right? Don't we have leaders like that? We have, right? Always depressed type. Then we have another type called extraversions. They are sociable, assertive and positive with a positive energy, right? Then we have another type called openness. Now the openness type leaders they are well informed, right? And they are creative, insightful and they are curious. Then also we have another type called agreeableness, right? Now under this type, they are like accepting, confirming, trusting and nurturing, like always agreeing to what the others say, right? Doesn't want to trouble the other's mindset sort of personality. Then you have the last one. Last one is called as conscientiousness. Conscientious. That is thorough, organized, controlled, dependable and decisive. So you have 5 types. So they are asking a question. Out of these 5, what is more closely related, closely associated for being a good leader? What do you all think? Is it neuroticism, extraversion, openness, agreeableness or conscientiousness? What is it?
You mean there should be 2, no?
Which is the most related one?
Extraversion.
Extraversion.
Yeah, you are correct. The type has to be extraversion. So there's a learning here. That means, why? Leadership is about something to do with people. So if your personality type is, if you are not happy being with people, right? How can you be a good leader? Right? So there's a learning here. If you want to be a good leader, you have to develop your people skills, right? So this is what we are learning out of this whole thing, right? So there's another blog activity that you can do if you want, right? That is, you can identify the goods and bads, the pros and cons of trait theory, right? You can do this as a blog activity. right? Okay, so I'm not going to take you to skills. We are going to do the skills afterwards, right? So I'm not going to do the skills. Instead, because you all must be really tired, right, with theory. So I'm going to show a video, right, of a presentation, right, and then you all can get an idea of how this presentation should be done, right? So I will show that video to you. In the same time, right, now you all need to, now we did trade theory, right? So next time we meet, we'll be doing the skill theory, skill approach, style approach. Likewise, we will be situational leadership. Likewise, we are doing many theories. So you can select one of these theories for your topic. And before I show you the video, I need all of you to come out with a topic and send it for me for approval, right? Now topic approval, even if you send it on the WhatsApp, I can approve it, right? It's easier for me, or even an email would do, right? So please get your topic approved, because certain topics, if you don't get it approved, what happens is you might find that literature is not available, or your topic is wrong, not focusing on, and your topic doesn't have the correct structure, where the dependent and independent variables are properly structured. So many things we have to look at, right? Because later if you do literature review and then you find it's not appropriate, then you have to reverse it, right? So don't do that. So you are supposed to send me the topic for approval, right? So before we yeah.
Is there a deadline or to get the topic confirmation?
No, deadline is like this, anyway you will have to, now sooner you get the topic approved, you can do the literature reviews and you can proceed with things, right? So otherwise what will happen is, if you delay it, people, I have seen some of the students, like, they start it at the end of at the last moment, and they will not have adequate time. Now I am telling you very seriously, don't take it lightly. You need to start early, because it takes lot of time for you to find literature, then for you to put that in this format. Writing is, you are not, not used to do academic writing for some time, right? So you need to get into that status. So it takes a lot of time for you to finish it, right? So I suggest you all send it either today or tomorrow. Then the rest is that,
you mean for this slideshow or the final?
yeah, for the slide, for the first assignment, the topic you can get it approved, right? You can, because your organizational problem you can identify, right? And then select one of the theories that we are going to discuss, or we discuss. Now we discuss only one theory, that is trade theory. Now next time we are going to discuss skill approach, style, transactional, transformational, like that. All that is there, that list is there in your student guide and your slide.
Excuse me. No.
Yeah.
So, you said there is two options. No, one is individual, the other one is paired.
Actually, sorry, this is Anish, or I can't read you. Anish, it's like this. Now, all this time we did it in pairs, right? Now this time they have sent a notification that they are not still decided, because that draft what they send, they say as individual, right? But there's a confusion there from the London Met University. So even if you have to do it as a pair, still both of you have to work on it, no? Right?
Yes,
so what I suggest you at the moment is, individually you select a topic. Later, if you are paired, you can select one of the topics and then both of you can work on that. Because I'm sorry, because I can't tell you anything, because London Met has not confirmed.
Got it.
Time, yeah, no, that's fine.
Got it.
Yeah, all this time it was very clear, but this time they might do a change, but they have not confirmed it to us yet.
Okay. Okay, doctor, that's clear. That's clear. Thanks.
And Amila, I think I told you how to select the topic. Were you there in the lecture at that time, Amila?
Yes, sir.
What is the issue? You know how to do it, right?
Yes, sir. Correct, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, sir.
But I told you all to select a organizational problem that you have in your organization, right? And that has to be not a small problem. It has to be a bit of a broader problem, and then see how it is connecting with one of the theories that we are learned or we are going to learn. Is that clear, Amila?
Clear, sir.
Okay.
Correct, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, are you emailing that Word file, what you were typing earlier, format?
Yes, I can email it to you. No problem. I can email it. I'll be anyway sending you the book and other stuff. I will send that as well.
Thank you, sir.
Any more
Sir, I have one
questions?
more question.
Go ahead.
Today is the first class where we are talking about this leadership approaches. So actually, as we don't have much knowledge about the remaining approaches, what we are going to learn after this, without that, can we make a topic, sir? Because it's related with the approach.
Yeah, correct. Now, it's like this. Now, trait theory you learn today. Similarly, we have skill theory. Skill is, I know. Now, the problem is, because of this every other week classes that we are trying now. Those days, when we did the every week class, we didn't have this problem because we don't even talk about the topic until the second week, right? So by second week, we have done about 2 or 3 lectures, theories. So what I suggest is that because for the interest of time and for you can manage yourself better if you can select a topic, right? Just selecting the topic doesn't mean that you cannot change. You can change it later if you want, right? Because your problem is same, but the theory only you will have to change if you are going to do so, right?
That's why, sir, so I want to confirm. So after that, now when we are doing the classes, sometimes we will understand that some other theories might be setting with this perfectly. So at that time, then we can change it, right, sir?
Yeah, you can change it, but only thing is like if you have done the literature review and all that, then again you will have to do it. So we have a bit of an issue there. You got what I'm saying? So
Okay.
we don't have a choice because you all are trying this time. You all are doing every other week. So then we have to balance both ends. That's why, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, and
Okay.
I have a request, sir. If you can make this time period to submit the topic by at least 2-3 days, then at least roughly we can go through each of these approaches and get the idea with our problem. That means the organizational issue.
That's fine. That's perfectly okay. But sooner the better, because then you can forge ahead, right? What happens is, I'll tell you the reality. All of you all are working, all of you all must be having families, kids and all that. So what happens is, if you wait till tomorrow, you will forget everything what you did today. You know what I'm saying, right?
True, sir. True,
So
sir.
that's the normal nature, right? So then after another 2 weeks only, again, you will, you'll be thinking about this. So that's the reality. So why I'm telling you to do it on the same day is, it's always better if you can do it, right? Okay.
Sure, sir. I'll try my best.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
We
Yeah,
want to send
and-
to this group. Oh, how the which email address also?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Which email address should be sent to this group if we
To
send
my email or my WhatsApp. I gave my email address and my contact number in the earlier. You saw that? Hello, did you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Also, there's a question whether can we take a problem related to any previous organizations? Yes, you can do that. Right? You can do it. No problem. Will there be only leadership styles, traits, and skills as related theories? No. We have. I will type it. I will type it there. I will type it here. Right? Leadership traits, skills, styles, situational leadership, transactional, transformational, servant leadership, authentic leadership. Okay, I have given almost all the theories that are related, right? So I'm sure it's clear to you all. Any more questions?
So in this subject selection and the dependent or independent variable altogether for the topic, does it have to be there's a standard like service industry, manufacturing, or executive level, labor level, something like that?
No, there's nothing as such. Your organization, because why we select your organization is then only we can reflect. We learn to learn to adapt theory to our learning, our working environment. That is why we want you to we want you to select a issue in your organization or your organization that is best known to you. There's nothing called service or manufacturing or what sort of, there's nothing as such, right? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So any matter we can use the what we call any theory we can use, right?
Yeah, any theory in the sense, any leadership theory that I have mentioned here. Can you see my last what I typed in the chat?
Yes.
Yeah, there are certain theories beyond this also. Still you can do it if you want, no problem. But these we are anyway learning in the classroom.
If we select some particular matter, if it must be used some particular style, or it will be depend.
What do you mean matter? Can you be little?
Any leadership what we solve problem through any leadership style that depend on the issues. It be example is performance. We can use leadership styles. I mean,
Yes.
any one problem not achieve the efficiency. Like same style we can use.
Yes, because in leadership styles, unfortunately, we have not done it yet. In leadership styles, we have autocratic style, democratic style, likewise. So either you can select styles and then talk about all these coming under that, or you can select democratic style and then you can relate to your issue, efficiency or whatever. Okay. Is that clear to you?
Yeah, clear.
So you want the email ID again? I'll put it up here. Right. Right. So I'm going to share that video with you. Just see. Can you see the video?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah, I'm going to run it for a moment and tell me whether you can hear it properly, then I'll run again. Huh?
Good morning. My name is Parmash Bakumar. Amir and myself are going to...
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you can mute your mics. I'm going to run it now. Listen to it very carefully, and also now once you look at the this presentation video, please go through the format and try to understand the sections, right, according to the given format. Okay.
Present how leadership style affect an organization. In this presentation, we are talking about Sri Lankan insurance, Sri Lanka apparel industry, as well as Omega Line Private Limited, problem inside the company, problem justifications, literature review, analysis, recommendation, action plan, and reflection as a leader. Introduction, Sri Lanka apparel industry. According to Akurate Gamage 2015, Sri Lankan apparel industry is reputed in worldwide for producing top quality ethical fashion apparel trusted by the iconic global fashion brands. The most significant and dynamic contributor for Sri Lankan economy as the #1 foreign exchange earner. These are the key players in Sri Lankan apparel industry: Mass Holdings, Brandix Group, Smart Shirt Lanka Private Limited, Hydra Money Group, Omega Line Private Limited, Politex Garments Limited, Crystal Martin Groups, Cloud Clothing Lanka Private Limited. This is about our research company, Omega Line Private Limited. This is based in parent company, Calcedonia in Luxembourg, Italy. Founder, Mr. Sandro Veronesi. Year 2015 sales volume 819 million US dollars. Main market, European countries. They sell brands in main 3 categories: Intimissimi, Tesanis, and Falconori. There is a 5 factories in Sri Lanka, consists of 7,200 of staff. We chosen Omega Line Private Limited Sandalanka branch, which is highest number of staff in out of 5 branches. Problem inside the company. The main problem is staff turnover increment. You can see this figure. According to 2005, average staff turnover rate was around 2.5, and 2010 it grown up to the 3.9%, and 2017 it developed up to average 4.7. According to the Omega Line 2017, Omega Line manager's opinion on increasing rate of employee turnover is the leadership style of line supervisors. Problem justification. Omega Line is a private limited company based on the profits achieving a good efficiency. How they calculate efficiency? Achieved minutes divided by the work minutes. Turnover and absenteeism are ways which decrease the total present count of entity. If the present card decrease, number of pieces output will decrease the value of the achieved minutes, efficiency rates will be low. And other factors, experiencing MI line, loss of experienced employees, negative effects on the financial performance of the organization, and difficult to meet company KPIs. Our general objective of this study is identify how the line supervisor's leadership style impact on employee turnover and recommend suitable strategies to overcome that. Now we look at the literature parts. History, what it say about the leadership and leadership styles. Leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve common goal. Northhouse 2015. Leadership defines what the future should look like, align people with that vision, and inspire them to make happen it despite the obstacles. Quarter 2007. According to the Borden et al. 2011, evaluation of leadership theories has been taken place over past 8 years. It's talk about trait approach, skill approach, behavioral style approach, situational approach, path goal theory. The behavioral style approach focuses exclusively on what leaders do and how they act. Northhouse 2015. Behavioral theory focuses on behavior of people in leadership position. The importance of leadership style and how it influences group performance. Nanjundeshwara Swami and Swami 2014. According to Bolton et al. 2011, there are many studies taken place under the behavioral theory. Kurt Levin's leadership style, Ohio State two-factor model, Blake Mountain managerial grid. Northhouse 2015 highlighted each of these models identify two dimensions of leadership behaviors. One is task-oriented, other one is people-oriented. According to the Blake Mountain 1964 in managerial grid, highly focused on both people and task force likely constitute the most effective leadership behavior, which they call team management. Cotley's proposed three types of leadership types, which can be seen within organization according to the behavioral theory, BAS 1990. Autocratic leadership style, laissez-faire leadership style, democratic leadership style. Autocratic leader do not expect the decision making from the subordinates. They always give the commands and orders to follow the subordinates, which leads to the dissatisfaction of subordinates. Finally, it leads performance get worse, and productivity and loss of profit. Favor 2016 stated that no one leadership style can be appropriate to all the situation and organization. No one leadership style is right for every manager under all circumstances. Golden et al. According to Northhouse 2015, situational theory implies select the best leadership style person will have to consider three main factors. Forces of manager or leader, forces of subordinates, forces in the situation. According to the Favor 2016, situational leader can divert attention away from long-term strategies and politics. Employee turnover. Baron 2015 stated, employee turnover is the major problem facing today when achieving the production targets on time in apparel industry. According to the Favor 2016, each employee has his or her own set of expectations upon entering into an organization. If these expectations not be met, the individual will become dissatisfied and leave. Employee turnover is the measurement of how long your employee stay with the company and how often company have to replace them. Meethi et al. 2015. According to the research done by Nanjundeshwara Swami and Swami 2014, it is proved that there is a relationship between leadership style and employee turnover. It has been proven in a study done by Malaysian apparel company by Leong Kim Shiu that there is a relationship between leadership style and employee turnover. Leadership of line supervisors in apparel companies. According to the Belonio 2012, line supervisors are the key people who directly deal with the machine operators. They can motivate or discourage employee, which can make an employee remain or leave an organization with leadership style he or she following. Burns 1979 outlined that not only HR department alone handle the responsibility of employee turnover. Line leaders and supervisors are also responsible for this. Now, our research presentation analytical part, I only try to Tamira to continue with presentation.
Well, thank you, Shiva. I'm going to conduct the analysis part. Me and Shiva has visited Omega Line has identified there are almost 250 production lines inside the company, and each line is assigned for a line supervisor. After that, we have closely monitored what are the characteristics of those line supervisors. We have identified three main characteristics which are similar for autocratic or authority compliance leadership management. Number one, Omega line supervisors forces the machine operators to follow directions. The autocratic leaders also tell the people to what to do. Number two, Omega line supervisors do not get machine operators' opinion on decision making. Even autocratic leaders also do not expect the opinions from their subordinates. They always expect the discretion. Number three, the Omega line supervisors are more concerned on target achieving rather than human. Even the authority compliance management is also more task-oriented rather than people-oriented. At last, it can be analyzed that most of the Omega line supervisors are practicing the autocratic or authority compliance leadership management type. After that, as we have stated in our literature review, according to Barty et al., this process is done by autocratic leader. We have also applied this into the Omega line context. Omega line supervisors do not expect decision from the machine operators in day-to-day operations. Due to that, the job satisfaction of machine operators will decrease due to lack of motivation. In case of that, efficiency and the performance of the company will be decreased. At last, the profit of the company will also be decreased. After that, we have analyzed how this autocratic or authority compliance leadership style influence on the demotivation or even the turnover intention of the machine operators. We have figured out four factors. Number one, machine operators are focused to follow the directions, which means they can't think out of the box. They have to stick to one frame and do the things what they are ordered to do. Number two, there is only a one-way communication between the line supervisors and the machine operators, which means the subordinates can't give their opinions. Because of that, the creative ideas, the innovation ideas might not come out. Number four, machine operators are not informed about why they are asked to do a particular work, which means there is no any visibility among the machine operators and the line supervisors, which will directly impact the motivation of the employees, and it will impact for the turnover intention as well. Next, situational leadership theory. As Dr. Paul Hessler said that no one leadership style can be appropriate to all situations or organizations, according to Favor 2016, as we have discussed in our literature review. We have analyzed it in Omega line as well. We have identified that line supervisors has no any idea about different leadership style. They only following the autocratic leadership style, and they only use that leadership style in each and every situation. Due to this, the correct leadership style might not be taken at the right place, which will directly impact the turnover intention as well. Next, according to Favor, situational leaders can divert attention away from the long-term strategies and policies. We have analyzed this in Omega line as well. It can be analyzed that Omega line supervisors, when they're taking a decision, they only think about the present situation, and also they are not well educated up to the level that they can foresee the future, which can be analyzed that supervisors will definitely divert away from the Omega line long-term goals of the company. Next, we are going to introduce the recommendation to overcome this issue. As we have discussed in our literature review, according to Blake and Mountain's managerial grid, we would like to recommend for Omega line supervisors to practice the team management leadership style by diverting away from the authority compliance management style, which they have to task similarly both on tasks as well as people. Next, We would also like to recommend for Omega Line supervisors to practice the situational leadership theory according to forces of the management and leader, such as personality, background, experience, and forces of the subordinates like personalities and experiences, forces in the situation, specific situations and pressures. And also, as leaders can divert away from the long-term goals, we would like to recommend always think about the long-term goals of the company when they are taking any decision. And if it is aligned with the goal, then take the decision. Next, I'm going to introduce the action plan. Actually, in action plan, there are 7 needs we have to fulfill. Number 1, identify the current leadership behaviors of the line supervisors. The action that we are going to do is, line supervisors have to be closely monitored and identify what are their current leadership behaviors. The time is June 1st to June 18th, and in-charge person can be HR manager and the team. The next need is finding good leadership training from outside or getting a good counsel inside the company. Action is must find a good counselor or must find a good institute that can give leadership educational theories and all stuff. Time we have allocated was June 18th to June 25th, which can be also responsible for HR manager and the team. And then the third task, training sessions. Basically, action after this can be executed after 5:30, which means after the work is done or even in the weekends. The time we have framed was June 28th to September 28th, which is 3 months. And the responsible persons are HR manager and the team. After that, to evaluate this, there is a need of defining the KPIs for line supervisors as well. Actions defining the KPIs such as module efficiency rate, module turnover rates, and special leadership theories, and they have used in every situation. Time frame was August 2nd to August 20th, and the responsible persons are performance appreciation team. And next task is to let the supervisors practice what they have learned in their own way. Then the action is letting the supervisors apply the team management approach and situation approach freely. Time allocated was September 1st onwards, and the responsible person is HR manager and the team and sectional heads. After that, next task is to check KPIs. Check in the defined KPI month-wise, always in the month end, in order to identify whether leaders are on track or is there any areas to be trained or something. If there are any areas to be trained, they must be allocated for some trainings as well. Allocated time is from September 31st onward to month-wise end. And then the responsible person is performance appreciation team and the HR team. And the last task is to give rewards. Action is to motivate the line supervisors by considering KPIs supervisors have to be rewarded, such as incentives, allowances, bonuses, gifts such as. Allocated time is from September 31st onwards each and every month end. And the in-charge person is HR manager and the team. Next, reflection as a leader. Basically, me and Shiva, by doing this research, we have learned so many things about leadership. Number 1, this research helped us to understand how leadership styles directly impact on the company performance, as we have figured it in our intention likewise. And then, to be an effective leader, must focus on both similarly the task and the people, which the Blake and Mountains has introduced in their managerial grid as team management. Number 3, one single leadership style might not be enough to practice in each and every situation or organization. They have to practice the leadership theories in according to the forces of the management, forces of the subordinates, and forces in the situation. Those are the references we have figured. And thank you.
Right. I think you all saw the presentation. So also within the presentation, I think I typed few actions that are to be performed by you all.
Sir, can I disturb you? One concern.
Yes.
Yeah, that presentation, the literature review is so long and very lengthy. Is it? Do you also need to put those around 15-20 literature reviews
exactly.
were there?
Now, yeah, now their content wise and their analysis was really good. That's why I showed it to you. That doesn't mean that, you know, that was a perfect presentation. As you said, you know, in PowerPoint presentations, you should not indicate so much of text, right? Because it's on a presentation as such, you know, people will not be, you know, convenient to read that and be happy to read that, right? So ideally, if you can give the point, that's enough. But certain literature, you need to write about 1 or 2 sentences. Sometimes you need to write so that you can't help. Is that clear?
Yes. Yes.
So I will be next time. Now we don't have time. Next week, next time we meet, I will tell you the tips on how to do a better presentation and all that. So I'll be doing that. So so don't worry. I will explain you how to, you know, do about. So we had a long day. I think you all had a very long day from morning. So thank you for being you know, attentive and, you know, learning. I hope you learned a lot of stuff today. So what you learned today is very important. So go through it again, and please don't drop your you know, interest. You need to go through this assignment topic and get it approved, and also read the Kotler's journal, which I'll be sending it today, and do your blogs as well. Right. So if there aren't any other questions, we can wind up. Anything else you want to ask? Any questions?
So when do we have to, you know, like today or tomorrow, do we have to approve this presentation topics?
Actually, there's no hard and fast rule to say like within 2 days or anything. But what I'm saying is, to help you all in finishing it earlier, best is to, you know, do it as quickly as possible, right? Because otherwise you will not remember what you learned today once you start your normal work. That is my, I mean, I don't know whether you agree to that or not, right? That's you know, that's a normal style, right? So if you can do it quickly, that's better. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to ask?
So this leadership styles, this presentation is not with us, sir.
Yeah, in the sense, not with you in the sense, yeah, obviously, yes, yeah. So I just showed it to you for you to get an understand, to get a feel of, you know, how it goes. So I don't want to copy that, you know. That is not a perfect presentation, right? So I don't want you to copy it.
No, sir. What I meant was your lecture, the second one. We don't have that presentation.
The journal, you mean to say?
Not the journal, sir. The second half, what you did, sir. Leadership.
It's not recorded, is it?
Not recorded. Sir, the slides are not with us, sir. Like the first one.
Then I'll send the slides to you then. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
I'll send the slides as well. Okay, thanks. Okay, all right. Okay, right. So then we'll wind up for the day then. If you want any more clarifications, you can send me a text. Okay, thanks to everybody, and have a good night.
Okay, doctor. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good night.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thanks, sir. design.